and rehab therapy, right? Physical, occupational, and rehab therapy. And so I graduated the top 10% of my class in high school and in college. Yes, I did leave my son home. That visit with me was short-lived because I could not handle it. And then I graduated, right? I graduated from the University of Florida, went on, got a job. I got a job. I got a job. And it wasn't until a good friend of mine, who's like a mother, bought a house here in South Florida, and I saw the commissions, and I decided, and this is by no means telling you to do what I did. I quit my job. I don't even think I gave them 2 weeks notice. Shame on me. I know better now. You get older, you get wiser, right? Because I'm running a company, and I'd hate for somebody to just leave. And so my apologies. I was 21 at the time. And so moving on, I decided to take a course in real estate, got my real estate license, and pretty much the rest is history, right? The rest is history. I have been in the business for 18 years. Something interestingly happened though when I became a realtor, and I don't honestly know where I got the idea from. I don't remember. And if you guys don't mind, I'm doing a lot of talking, so I'm going to have a little bit of my Hibbert Group water. Hibbert Group water. There was something that said, you know what? I don't want to be working for the rest of my life in sales. And so what could I do to ensure that when I got to an age, and it was 35 for me, and I've since then made some changes, and so my retirement was not at 35, although it could have been. I decided that I would not retire. And the question was, what does that look like for me? So at 21 years old, I decided that I would not work in sales for the rest of my life. As many as you may know or may not know, you're only as good as the next commission or deal that you make, right? And while my passion is there for homeowners and investors, the truth is that I can't do this for the rest of my life. And so somehow, some way, I bought my first duplex right here in Miami 18 years ago. And the mindset was to rent one side out and live in the other. Well, I got an opportunity. Some of you may not remember this. I was a little girl, and we had a Hurricane Andrew, that tore up Miami, something terrible, that now developed places like Miramar and Pembroke Pines. Years thereafter, there was nothing there left. Well, they did start to rebuild about 12 to 15 years later after that hurricane. And so I then bought 3 townhomes, and I flipped them, and I made $30,000 without having a mortgage. And so while I'm not going to get too deep into all of it, you'll have some more opportunities to see that this is sort of kind of an initiated thing, right? Give me 1 second here because I want to see if I can handle this on my own. How about that? Empowerment, right? And so I want to start by just literally showing you. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see that? All right. From beginning. All right. Hopefully you guys could see that. So here you're at the Hibbert University. It is a university that I created for you. And we're actually going to escape that screen. Let me just see how I'm managing here. All right, give me just a second here. All right, so I'm getting it. I'm excited. All right, so I created the Hibbert Group University after 18 years of experience. Why? Because I realized people weren't getting the information, right? People were not getting the information. And where do you go to learn all this information? Well, lucky enough for me, a lot of it I figured out. I have filed bankruptcy. I have gone through foreclosure in my earlier, time as a real estate professional and an investor. Yes, I've done it all. And I've kind of sort of learned the hard way, but there were some times that I kind of just sat and focused. Maybe, I remember starting, I couldn't afford books. I would sit in the library and read my books. So um, make sure that you're reading. Everything may not be for you. Disseminate through the information and use what's good for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start. You now know a little bit more about me. And I'm actually going to start with the process, right? And so I'm going to see if I can handle this again and share my screen. I may need Amari's help, so if you can come in and help me, Amari, that'd be great. All right, can you guys see my screen? No, all right, so can you guys see my screen? All right, good. You guys can see my screen. I thank you guys for being patient with me. I just have so much information to share, and thank you for being patient. And so let's start with some of the principles. Oh, good. I like that. I like that screen. Thank you. Just sit right there. So if I need you. No, seriously. Right here. Thank you. All right. So some of my principles, and you may want to take these notes down. Be consistent, and you got to be disciplined. A lot of my life, I didn't grow up with parents who were filthy rich. Yes, my mom and dad did own a home. My mom and dad are from the Caribbean. They're from Jamaica. They migrated here, made a living for themselves. But by no means am I from a background of wealth. All right, I've worked hard. I've worked tirelessly. I've done it all. Right. There have been times where I've been asleep for 3 days, and so here are some of my principles that I want to share with you. Be consistent and be disciplined. All right. Your mental is very, very important, because if you get around the wrong set of people, you'll start to be discouraged. So come out of a discouraged place. All right. Make sure that you're dreaming and you're thinking and you're writing down. Some of you journal, write, because sometimes we have thoughts and we have so many of them and we forget about what's going on. And so if you can think it, you can dream it, it will be. It's been my rule since I can remember. All right. Run your own race. This is key, because what you're going to do is see all these different people, including myself, running at a speed, but sometimes the speed, well, no, it is true. The same speed that I'm with now, I did not have year 1, 2, 3, and 4. So make sure that when you are in this real estate business, or probably any business for that matter, run your own race. Your profile does not mirror anyone else's. Everyone has a different social security number, and there is a reason for that. Okay, so run your own race. If somebody can afford to pick up 3 and 4 properties at one time, that is their race. If you can pick up 1 property a year or 1 property every 3 years, then that will be your race and your testimony. So remember to run your own race, right? And then have the right people in your circle and around you. We talked a little bit about that in your mental person portion. So if you feel tired and drained, sucked of all your energy, I'm telling you right now, run, sprint, do not stay around, okay? You need to be around positive, impacting people, and make sure that you're able to impact their lives as well, all right? And so I'm actually going to move on here, and this is something, all right, good. Hey. All right, drop a 4 if you can see the process. And yes, I am going to spend some time on this. All right, and so this is where the note taking really starts. All right, so let's just see. All right, 4, 4. Okay, everybody can see my screen. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being part of this journey. All right, so what is it that you desire? I've already told you at the age of 21, and by the way, I'm 39. I'll be 40 this year, so you can gauge what activity I've been doing if you've not counted by now with my 18 years of experience and starting at 21. What do you desire? I want to take a moment right now for those of you that are in a position to write notes. What is your desire? Do me one more favor. If you can see me and my screen, drop a 6. If you can see me and the screen, drop a 6. All right, good. You can see me and the screen. All right, good. That's what I like to see. All right, what is your burning desire? What is your goal? See, at 21, my goal was to make sure I had created enough passive income so at any given point after the age of 35, I could retire from selling real estate. Now I'm still selling real estate because I love it and I feel like I still have the energy and the burning desire. But my goal, my number one goal, was to make sure I created passive income. Some of you call it residual income. Passive income is income literally that you're making when you are sleeping. Okay? That is money that you are making month, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute in your sleep or during the day or whatever you got going on. So take a moment right now. Anybody that's been to my training sessions know that we get busy in the training. I don't wait to leave this homework for you to do later, because what typically happens? The same. Somebody's drawing on my screen. All right. I'm not sure who's doing that. All right. So how do we go back? Hold on. Hold on. All right, if you guys are drawing on the screen, if you could not draw on the screen, that would be great. So at this moment, I want you to write down what your goal is. Some of you, home ownership is one. All right, we're going to talk about a little bit of strategy later with that. Some of you buying multifamily properties is one. You already own a property. How can I get involved with creating some passive income? For those of you that do not own a home, we're going to strategize a little bit with you, okay? We're going to learn how to create some passive income with some really good, amazing products and programs. So I'm going to give you 1 minute, and I want you to write your goal down now. All right, so you can see me. I'll use my whiteboard because I don't want to come off of this screen. It's going to be backwards, but the point is that it's a goal. So for me, my goal is to make sure this year I up my game and buy a 20+ unit building. That is my goal, all right? That was not my goal at 21. My goal was to purchase a duplex. I did that, okay? So write your goal down. What are you giving to get there? What is the exchange? You don't get something for nothing. That's just very simple. Some of you that have read Think and Grow Rich, these are the same principles that I use, I've been using before I read the book. And so the book was almost like confirmation. Wow. And so make sure you're writing these things down. What are you willing to give? Let me tell you, when I first started this business, I was willing to give up a lot. Okay, I worked hard. I quit my job because I wanted to increase my income, and I knew with real estate I could set my own income. I could decide if I wanted to work solely in the $1 million property arena, or I decided whether I wanted to help first-time homeowners. I knew that there was no ceiling on the amount of money that I could make, so I made some sacrifice. Okay, it took me 6 to 8 months to develop my first deal. Guys, I'm a single parent with now rent to pay. That was a huge sacrifice. Okay, so establish a definite date. A lot of times, this is what happens. You come up with these bright ideas. I want to buy a 20-unit building. Guys, the universe will pick it up, but the universe doesn't know when to pick it up. You gotta tell it when to pick it up. So I moved a little bit quicker because I know what my goal is. My goal is by December 31st, 2019. 20+ building. I'm very specific. I know that I am going to get a great deal because that is the energy that I'm putting out there. And it's not just energy. I'm also writing it down. I am also writing it down. If you have written down your goal and you have written down your date, drop date in there. Just drop date. The word date, D-A-T-E, date. Just if you have come up with your goal and a date, drop it in the chat. All right, good. So we have some people here following along. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, we've got our goal. We understand that you can't get something for nothing, so some sacrifices are going to have to be made. Create a plan and begin. I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. When I dropped this webinar, I had no idea how I would do this. I had no idea. And most people that know me will say, Claudia, you're good at working at the last, or just working at the spur of an idea, right? And so the truth is that I am. But February 8th, I created the flyers. February 9th, they were at Girl Hold My Hand. Say thank you to Girl Hold My Hand, because that's why this seminar is free. I just felt it, the energy in Girl Hold My Hand seminar, or they're on, well, actually it was here in Miami, right? And so I went ahead and made this free for everyone. And so one day it took me to come up with this. I said, okay, I've used Zoom before. My point is that I came up with an idea. I knew I needed to get it done before that February 9th date. All right, because VIP had the access to this webinar, and I've just since made it open. All right. I knew I had a definite date. That was the date. Here's the piece. Create the plan and begin. In my mind, I created the plan. Then I started to write it down. I started to write the plan down. Hence, from February 9th to the 26th today, I've been able to come on here and do something for you. Right? 0446. 0446. So nice. Look at that. Now, I told y'all not to write on the screen, but I like that. I like that. You put your date in my screen, right? So create the plan. I am going to be here helping you with that real estate plan and that goal, right? Everybody's plan and goal will be different. Why? Because we all have credit, different issues. We have different incomes. We have different family makeups, which is different, right? I can tell you right now, in 18 years, and I have closed over thousands of deals, there's not been one transaction with the same credit, 3 credit scores, with the same makeup of credit, with the same desires. So everyone's plan is going to be different. And I'm going to help you with that. Not right now, but I will. Write it out and repeat it twice a day minimum. Write the process out. All right, for me, I have my whiteboard, but I don't want to come off of the screen, so I know this is backwards, but the point is I'm actually doing this with you, right? So here's my burning desire for 2019, right? What am I going to do to get there? I might have to cut a few trips out, maybe not, but I have to make some adjustments, right? Right? I got to come up with the deposit, because we're talking about probably $1 million project here. I may want to think about a 1031 exchange, all right? So I might have to give up a property and sell it to come up with a down payment, maybe, right? Then I establish a You're going to write this out in a statement. Write it out in a statement. And you're going to tell it to yourself not once or twice a week, every single day until it comes. It turns into your affirmation. So every morning I wake up and I just know my 20-unit building come to me before December 31st, 2019. I may add something else, like, you know what? I may add, and actually I don't. That is my affirmation. In 2019, by December 31st, Claudianne will own a 20 plus, because if it comes to me more than 20 units, I'm taking it for the right price. By December 31st, 2019, I will buy and I will secure my future with a 20-unit plus apartment building. All right. So that now has become my affirmation. If you have affirmations from this session right now, that means you set a goal. That's your burning desire. Let me back up for a second. When you are repeating the affirmation, if you say to yourself, if you say, I want a 20-unit plus apartment building by December 31st, 2019. Guys, if I said this like this, I want to own a 20-unit apartment building by December 31st. That don't sound exciting. You gotta have a burning desire when you talk about your affirmations. For some of you, you may have more. But I want to get up in the morning and I want to say, forget about one. Oh, look at that. That was in Girl Hold My Hand. Wow. I am going to own a 20-unit apartment building by December 31st, 2019, baby. Yes! And I start clapping it up. And I start getting excited. I am going to own a 20-unit apartment building by December 31st, 2019. And I start clapping it some more. If you have that, drop affirmation in the chat room. If you have that part, just type in my box, affirmation. Affirmation. All right, so you can't hear me. Thank you for that. You can't hear me when I turn around and use that whiteboard, so I'll be very aware of that. And so you've got to see it and you've got to feel it. Let me tell you, if my personal friends are on here, and I'm not going to unmute them, they will tell you, I will say something that sounds like it's all the way in left field. Somebody will come and challenge it that don't know me well, and they'll say, Claudia, you're being ridiculous. My friends will come back and say, no, we have seen her magic. We've seen her and magic put together. And it just sparks for July 4th, right? And so they know because I've shown them, I've shown myself. I've said something, I've communicated it out of my mouth. I have written the plan down. I have dreamed about it. I have talked about it. I have put a plan in place and I have executed it. The same thing. If I can do it, you can do it. All right. And so that's a little bit about affirmations in that process. All right. If you've gotten this written, you've taken a picture of the screen, just write in the chat room, got it. Got it. Got it. Right? Got it. Great. I'm glad to see that you guys have gotten it. Okay. And so, all right. So let's start here. So you guys can still see, Mari, they can see me on the screen and on here, right? And my notes. Can you see that? All right, can you use the link? Well, I can just ask my people here because they've been very good. You can see me personally on the screen and you can also see my notes, correct? Say yes. Oh, good. I don't even need a Mario. Y'all just, where you going? Right, so thank you guys for sticking this out with me. All right, so the first thing you want to know. Ring, ring, ring. Hi, Claudia, how are you? I just, I logged off of your seminar and I'm ready to get started. All right. These are the questions I'm going to be asking you. Do you know what your credit scores are? I don't know. I got to ask silly a little bit. Do you know what your credit scores are? That's going to be the first step of understanding this process. If you do not know what your credit score is, there is a free link here. You have access to it once a year for free. It draws the information directly from the 3 credit bureaus. Okay, I'm not going to read this screen to you because I know that you can read. All right, but the ideal here is that you got to know where you start, right? So, hey Facebook. Y'all know I can't do two things at one time. This one over here say hi on Facebook. So, all right, so let me stay on task. So the point is that I'm going to tell you a little story. I told you that I went to the University of Florida. We had this place there called the set, right? Where most of the students kind of congregated during class, not during class, hopefully they were in class, but between classes and during breaks, during lunch. It was a place where really a lot of the African American students, which was very minimal, hung out. And on the set, there would be Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and they'd have these nice, pretty UF Gator shirts and what do you call those drink containers? They've had all kind of gifts, right? And so, you know, I don't know about you, but when I was in college, I was dead broke, like broke for real, like broke. All right, and so I would go and fill the credit card out, put my social on there, and I needed a little extra change too. So I didn't mind getting the credit cards either. And guess what? Oh, you're approved. Credit line $500. Oh, you're approved. Credit line $1,000. Well, guess what happened? Because I told y'all I was broke. Yes, I did have a little job on campus. It was called work study. But if you've ever been in work study, you know that's a little bit of money that might buy you some cheese, some milk, and that was it. And so the point is that I didn't have a very good job. And so I got all these credit cards between the mall, on campus food, and who God knows whatever else. The credit cards just got charged up and I didn't pay them, right? I didn't even understand how that was going to harm me in the long term. And so that's what happened. I'm 18 years old. I'm in college. I leave college and I'm ready to start my life. Well, guess what? Claudianne's scores are all in the 500s. All of Claudianne's scores are in the 500s because guess what Claudianne didn't pay when she ran up those credit card bills? She didn't pay the people back that she promised to pay at 30% probably interest rate, and it just was not a good day, right? It wasn't a good look. Why am I sharing this story with you? Because when I left school, my mind started to be creative again. I've got a really creative mind. I come up with things, right? And so I'm coming up with this idea that I want to get my credit together to maybe one, buy a car. I don't buy the car. Thanks, Tina. She gave me the car for a graduation gift, brand new. So I'm very appreciative of that. But the next thing for me was just to get my credit together. I didn't even know that I wanted to buy real estate at the time, right? I had not even gotten my license at the time. I just knew that I wanted to repair my credit. And at that time, 19 years ago, I did my own credit repair, right? We didn't have all these tools and places where you could go at affordable rates. And trust me, if you need help, we have a referral for you. I'm going to send that referral out in the link a little bit later after this session. Okay? And so credit is very important. All right? If your credit is not good and you need a loan, I don't care what type of money you're putting down. I don't care what type of money you're making. The bank is going to look at that transcript, credit report, and say, let me look at the resume. I like to call it the resume. You know how you go to a job, they ask you for your resume, and they use that to determine preliminarily if they're even going to interview you. And that's the same thing with the bank. The bank is going to look at that resume, that credit report, and they're going to look at, I like to call it credit behavior. And I'll tell you why I call it credit behavior later. All right. And so how do I get to my next screen here? All right, good. This is what your credit score is made up of. Your FICO scores, 30% on the amounts owed on that card, right? Not the amounts owed, but amounts owed. So you know that if you have a $1,000 limit, you should not be spending more than $300. Did you hear that? You should not be spending more than $300 on that credit card. That's 30%. You cannot, well, you can, but your scores are going to go out of whack. All right. And so you cannot use, it is advised that you do not go more than 30% over on that card. Okay. So again, the example is if you have a $1,000 credit limit, You do not want to use more than 30% of that limit, which is $300. All right, new credit, 10%, 15% length of credit history. That's really good. We'll talk about that a little bit in some more of our Hibbert University sessions. You definitely, if you can, get on someone's card that that has good credit, good long-term credit, and you can get on there as maybe not a co-bar. We don't want to call it a co-bar because we don't want to give you the ability to spend somebody else's money. But the point is that the history of your credit is important. So for some of you, you guys want to clean up your credit yourselves and don't really know what you're doing. Don't worry, we're going to have a session for that too. Your credit is important, guys. Your credit is important. You can't just go and pay off the trade line. They're looking at the history of what you've done. The history of what you've done. All right, 10% credit mix. Okay, so if you have a car payment, all right, that's usually well, I don't know anybody get a car payment for 12 months, but you're at 36 months, sometimes 48 months, sometimes 60 months. Okay, that's what a car loan looks like. Sometimes you have school loans for a long period of time, right? Right, that's an installment. Then you're looking at credit cards where you have $1,000 payment or $1,000 credit line. All right, now we're looking at the utilization of that card. So you may owe $400 this month. Hopefully you don't. You should only owe up to $300. And so you make a payment based on what you owe. And they're all different types of, not all, but there are about 6 types of credit lines that you can have. And then also we talked about this, your payment history. Guys, that's important. You can't go and pay people late and then ask the bank for a loan. It ain't looking good. All right, so let's keep going. Hopefully you got a screenshot of that. So you've gotten your credit together. All right, so the first thing you want to do is credit. So we talked about credit. We talked about credit. Y'all, I'm working out. Y'all see that? I'm working out. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Okay, so you want to understand your financial position. All right, and again, I am not going to read this screen. I want you to take a picture, screenshot it, do what you need to do. Once you have your credit in order, now you're going to go over to a mortgage professional or a bank, a lending institution, and you're going to say, I'm interested in buying a property. Can you share with me what I qualify for? Very simple. I'm interested in purchasing a property. That's your goal. You're going to tell them what your goals are. I'm interested in buying and purchasing a 20-unit building. I would like to know how much can I borrow? How much can I qualify for? That is going to give you an idea of what type of property you can qualify for. If you got that, give me a hands up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes. If you got that, give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes. Good. So, excellent. So what we're going to do, so here, again, you've gotten your credit in order. Guys, if your credit is not in order, don't wait to get your credit in order. Just start now, one step at a time. Trust me, it's worth it. I did it. You can do it. All right, and we're going to give you some referrals on the back end of this session, okay? So don't hold your horses. Can't give you everything up front. All right, and so understanding your financial position. Simple. The good thing about what I do is that I can help you anywhere in the world because we have created some great, strong partnerships. And I don't care where you're tuning in today, we can definitely partner you with some of our partners, and we're excited to do that. If you have your own lending institution, that's fine too. Just when you go to the bank, make sure your credit is in order. What is a decent score to have? I would say anywhere between above 620. Can you get a loan at 580? Yes, you can. FHA loans, you can. And we'll talk about that a little later. I don't like to do it because I want you to have a good credit behavior. I want you to get in the habit of paying your bills on time, because the last thing I want to do is help put you in a home and then now you don't pay your mortgage and now you're foreclosing. So that's why I like to call it credit behavior. Okay, 620 and above, 640, you're in a good place, at least with FHA. Conventional loans, and we'll talk about this a little later, 680 and above, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, I wonder if I should break really quick. If you think I should break really quickly for some questions and answers so I don't get too far along. If you have a question right now, um, you can go ahead and ask it. If you have a question, go ahead and ask it. All right, so Melissa wants to know, what's the score minimum? Now, remember, there's a lot of different programs, okay? A lot of difference. You can get a loan with a 580 score. We don't want you to. We want you to get into a good credit behavior and get at least into a 620, okay? All right, good. All right, so let's just move on. All right. We were talking a little bit before about the different types of loans. And so here you have an FHA product. Depending on what state and city you're in, FHA does have loan limits. Here in Florida, South Florida, it's in the mid 300s. And so there are loan limits. In California. Obviously, the cost of living is a lot more. And so those loan limits are a lot higher. And so, just know that there are loan limits with FHA. A lot of people will tell me, oh, I'm going to FHA to get a loan. No, you're not. You're not going to FHA to get a loan because they're not a lending institution. It's a federal housing administration. It's mortgage insurance, okay? Banks have to want to do loans with FHA. In a nutshell, what they say is, Claudiane, I'm going to give you this loan, right? Right now, with an FHA loan, you can purchase up to 4 units. You can purchase up to 4 units with an FHA loan, okay? 4 units with an FHA loan. Okay, so what happens is, Claudiane calls the bank and they say, okay. Let's see, I have some questions there. I'll get to them in a minute. Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, Mortgage Chicks, whatever the lending institution is, I'd like to be pre-approved for an FHA loan. All right, they're going to say, okay, here's the criteria. You're going to see if you met the criteria. That product was generated for first-time homeowners, and it does not mean that you have to only use it on the first time that you purchase. We'll get into that a little bit later. But for now, just know that it is a product that allows you to put a minimum of 3.5% down of your purchase price. Okay, 3.5% down minimum. Doesn't mean that you can't put down more. It means that you have a minimum requirement of 3.5% down of your purchase price. All right. I'm not going to use 100,000. I'm going to use 300,000. We're looking at 3.5%. 300,000 is the purchase price. You're looking at a down payment of 3.5%, and you get that magic number right there. That is going to be your down payment with FHA, right? What FHA tells the bank is, bank, we'd like to give Claudiane a loan. In the event that she forecloses or defaults on this loan, there's a percentage of the money that you loaned her that we're going to pay you back. Did y'all get that? Did you catch that? Did you catch that? FHA is not a bank. You cannot go to FHA and say, I want a loan. It is a product that banks use for first-time homeowners, all right? For people who want to occupy their property. You can buy up to 4 units. FHA tells the bank that you are borrowing from, hey, we like Claudiane's credit profile at the 590. We believe that she would be a good owner occupant. If she defaults on this loan, we are going to give you a percentage back of that money that she borrowed. Okay? So y'all think FHA, which has been around for many, many moons, because through them, a lot of people are able to get financing. FHA 203K is a renovation product. I'm doing one right now. We're totally gutting the house. We're adding the repair cost to the cost of the loan, right, or the purchase price. So I'll give an example. Let's see if I can come out of here for a second. Um, right. I want to show you something on my white pad. It's okay. It's not there. Um, all right. So in a nutshell, FHA is a renovation product. So if you get into a property, you're with your realtor that has no kitchen, the bathroom needs to be done, or you just don't like the kitchen, you can replace it too. As long as there is equity there, you can use a 203 product. Okay. They take the renovation and wrap it into the cost of the loan. So if you have a contract at $100,000 and that property is worth $200,000, I'm going to back up and say that again. If you have a purchase price of $100,000, the property is worth $200,000, and you know it's going to take you $50,000 to do the repairs. Your loan amount is now $150,000, and they're going to wrap the renovation cost in the cost of that loan. That is a product that's been out for many moons. Not many people use it. They're afraid, but I'm telling you, I'm using it now. I have used it before, not me personally, but some of my clients. Okay, so that's the gist of a 203 K or 203 renovation loan. Conventional, and we're going to speed through these really quickly. Conventional, you usually need higher scores over 680. Loan is typically 30 years. All right, 20% down. Now we have conventional products for 5% down, which is great. And this is a difference between conventional and FHA. FHA, you have to pay MI, which is mortgage insurance, every month for the life of that loan. With conventional, you do. If you do not put 20% down, yes, you do have to pay mortgage insurance, but it does not last for the life of the loan, which means that when you at some point get 20% equity in that property, you can call the bank and say, hey, I've got 20% equity. They may require you to do an appraisal, verify the information that you're sharing with them, and you can now take that payment out of your monthly mortgage payment. And so that's one of the beautiful things about conventional loans. Veterans, VA loans, veteran affairs. First and foremost, if I have any veterans that are logged in today, I want to say thank you for all of your service. It is truly greatly appreciated. And to move on from there, VA allows you to put 0% down and collect up to 6% concessions from the seller. And so I tell you a little story about that. Good friends of mine was able to get into a house with almost zero. Actually, no, they got their entire deposit back. They came to closing with 0% down, and we'll talk about the details of that type of product in a later session. But just know the important things is that you pay 0%. Now, if you want to put 20% down, you can, because there is no mortgage insurance with this loan, and some other great benefits that comes with VA. And so if you know that you have served our country and you want to go into home ownership, you can buy up to a 4-unit building, right? Remember, residential is up to 4 units. If you get into 5 units, you're now talking about commercial, and this is not a commercial session. This is a residential session, and we're going to strategize along the way. And we are at 8 o'clock. We are on good timing. I'm excited. Hopefully, we'll get you out of here early. All right. So you worked on your credit. So we talked about credit. You now know how much you are approved for. Got your pre-qualification letter. Now it's time to find the real estate professional. Now it's time to find the real estate professional, all right? I want to say this. While having an attorney is not a necessity, it is not a must here in Florida. It does not mean that you should not have one. Not, do not, do not substitute an attorney with a realtor. All right. There are special things that we know how to do, but I'm going to tell you there are things that I didn't go to school and learn, and I have not been practicing as an attorney. So it is important, if you can get an attorney on board. It does not, we do not replace you having an attorney. All right. So that's very important. It's not required, but definitely recommended. All right. So you've secured your pre-approval letter. What's next? You found me. You're saying, Claudianne, I'm ready to go. Here's my pre-qual. Now I'm going to now have a buyer's consultation with you. All right. Listen, if you want to, and I'm in Florida, so I'm going to use this as an example. If you want to live in Miami and the realtor is based out of Orlando, which is 3.5 hours away in a car driving, and you say because they're your friends, because we're licensed in the state of Florida, that they can handle you locating property in Miami, I'm here to tell you, don't do it. Right? You want someone who specializes in the area that you want to purchase in. Guys, that is very important. Okay? Because if you go and purchase a development and you don't know that landfill is coming next door, that's going to be a problem for you in the future. Okay, so make sure you are picking a professional. Make sure you're interviewing the realtor. All right, what are some of the questions that you should be asking? How long have you been in business? Guys, don't associate how long have you been in business with they've got experience, because I know a ton of realtors who have licensed for 18, 20, 15 years and don't really do any work. They just hold and maintain the license. What is your activity level? How many properties have you closed? How many properties have you listed? How involved are you in the community? All right? I don't mean community service. I mean knowing what's going on in a community. All right? So you also interview the realtor. Okay? Did you guys get this screen? Did you guys get that last screen? All right, so we got to go back. Got to transition here. Hold on. The slideshow. Okay, so we talked about credit. We talked about that. All right, so is my screen still being shared? If you can see my screen, please tell me yes. All right, from the current, if you can see my screen, please tell me yes. Are you guys taking notes? Good. All right, excellent. All right, so here we are. Let me just see if you guys can see. Okay, good. So, but if you can hear me and you can see me and my screen right, buyer's consultation. Buyer's consultation. Write it down, buyer's consultation. You will not meet the realtor at the property with your pre-qual. You will not only speak with them over the phone, you will now have, let me tell you something, when you go to your CPA and your accountant and you meet with your manager, you meet with the doctor's office, aren't you meeting with a professional? You're meeting with a professional, right? You go to the doctor, you see the front count, the people at the front, the receptionist, they sign you in, you wait, hopefully not for a long time. You may see the nurse, they might take all your vital signs, and then you see the next professional. This is a business. This is not, I do this on the weekend. This is not, I work in the day and I do this on the side. This is not a side hustle. This is a profession. This is a profession. And if you're working with a professional, then you need to have what's called a buyer's consultation, because you need to understand what we're doing. What do I have to offer you? All right. So good. You guys can see that screen. Excellent. Now, let me just see here, because I want you guys to see. New share my whiteboard. All right, great. Can you guys see my whiteboard? Say white, tell me whiteboard if you can see my whiteboard. I appreciate you guys being patient during this webinar. If you can see my whiteboard, right whiteboard, you can see me, that is great. All right, good. So I'm going to clear, yes, great, 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 excellent. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna clear my whiteboard of all the drawings. I'm gonna minimize this. All right, so you're gonna meet with a professional. And so if you're meeting with me, whether it's webinar or in person, this is pretty much how it goes, right? You have your goals. We've discussed some of your goals over the phone. We have now set up a buyer's consultation. I'm going to provide you with a booklet of all the steps, a little bit of what you see here, a lot more than what you see here. I'm also going to prepare you with maybe the possible documents that you're going to be signing when you step into the house of your desire, or if you step into the property of your desire, or if you step into the investment of your desire. And so we're now meeting. We're in my office in the conference room. And I'm going to ask you, are you familiar with the process? If you're familiar with this process, tell me yes or tell me no. Write it in the chat room. Are you familiar with the real estate process? All right. And so, all right, some says yes, some says no. Great. So I'm going to say, is it okay for you if I show you a little bit about how we, do our business? And you're going to say yes. And I'm going to take it from there. And I'm going to say I use a funnel system, right? And it kind of looks like this. There are two things that I want to accomplish with you. One, I want to say thank you for maintaining your great credit scores. Thank you for getting your pre-qual letter from your lender of your choice that shows us how much you want to buy or how much that you qualify for. I know that we discussed some things. You want to go into a duplex, which is a 2-unit structure with 2 doors. I understand that this is your first property. Obviously, guys, I'm making this up. I understand that this is your first property that you want to move in. So I'm very excited. And so let me just back up for a second before I go into that buyer's consultation. When I started, I wasn't concerned about buying my house where I live in. I was renting an apartment. In fact, no, I was staying with my mom at the time. A little bit after college, I stayed with my mom for a little bit, me and my son. And I wasn't concerned about buying the big house or the little house for that matter. My state of mind, who can remind me of where I wanted to be when I was 21? I wanted to generate some passive income. I knew going into real estate that was a business based on commissions. You do no work, you make no money. You make no sales, you make no money. It's very simple. And I did not want to set my life up for failure. And so I wasn't even thinking about a house. I'm not the girl that dreamed about having a family and, a husband and a house with a white picket fence. That wasn't me. And it's okay. All I knew is that I wanted to make a lot of money so I could help a lot of people, right? And through my community service ventures. That was my goal. So I wanted to put myself in a position where I maximize. So I didn't go to the big house first. I bought a multi-family property using an FHA product with 3.5% down, and the seller was gracious enough to assist with my closing costs. So kudos to Claudianne for her first duplex, 18 years in the game. Thank you. I think I got my cheerleaders right here in my face, so that's good. And so now I'm back to the buyer's presentation. This is what your realtor should be doing with you. This is a funnel system. I know you're out there looking at properties. You guys drop where you look for properties. Realtor.com, right? Realtor.com. Some of you go to Zillow. Probably not the best way where to go, but you go there, right? And I'm dropping all these things for you in the funnel. All right. And then some of you see some for sale by owners. We make sure we cover those for you. We're going to be sending you our MLS system, which is a system based for realtors. Okay. We're going to be setting up that for you. That's everywhere in the United States. All right. It might just be formatted a little bit differently, but it's the same idea. All right. Where else? Some of you guys tell me where you look for properties. Redfin. You go there. So so Mario, I see that you've been looking at all these different places. Here is what my job is for you. It's very simple. Y'all here in the background saying, okay, oh, okay. All right, it's very simple. One, I want to make sure that you don't miss an opportunity. So you might be thinking, some of you realtors out here might be thinking, Claudia, you working with for sale by owners? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you working with pre-construction? Move this down here. Uh-oh, gotta be careful with how I drag the screen. All right. So some of you might be looking at pre-construction deals, right? It's going into the funnel, right? Some of you might be going to open houses. How many people have seen those signs? Open, 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 right? So you go to the open house just because you're visionary. You're visionary and you want to start looking and you want to start getting out there to look at homes. My job is to bring all of that information here. So one, you're not wasting time missing properties. Okay. My goal is to make sure you do not miss any opportunity. This is me in the buyer's consultation. This is what you get. I always keep a whiteboard on hand. This is you and I at the buyer's consultation. So I don't want you to, one, miss an opportunity. All right. Then I'm going to create the search right there at my conference table with them because I want them to see what I'm doing. You know, some of y'all want a $500,000 house in an $800,000 area. So I have to show you what your taste can afford, what you can afford, right? And I take you to that. And I tell you, so the first thing that we don't want to do is miss any opportunity. And number two, we don't want to overpay on properties. Who wants to overpay for a property? Not I, right? So we do not want, oh, I got to get a pen for my computer. It probably came with one. All right, don't want to overspend. So how do I determine that you're not overspending? Have you guys ever seen a property listed and you know it's listed way more than what's going on in the current area? Has that been you? We don't want you to be overspending on properties. So what we're going to do is a comparative market analysis before we leave here today, once you pick your top floating 3. Doesn't mean it's going to be your only 3, but we're going to always keep our top 3 until we can finalize and visualize you in the property that you're looking in. And I'm going to ask you something like this when we're on the appointment. Do you see yourself living in this house? Do you see yourself owning this type of property? If the answer is yes, then we found our properties out of the 3. If it is no, we keep going. But we always keep a top 3 until we found the diamond in the rough. Right? So we don't want you to overspend. So we do something that's called a comparative market analysis. Before we go out, I already know what that property should be selling for. I am not going to allow my client to go out and put an offer on a property based on what the list price is. Now, there are some realtors that list properties very aggressively, below market, at market, and above market. The point is, I don't want my clients to overpay. And so because of that, we do something that's called a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis. We just taking a 1 mile radius of where that property is located to see the activity in the area of closed sales. And that is the conclusion of that buyer's consultation. That's something of what your buyer's consultation should look like. Now, everybody does something different, but this is sort of what mine look like. All right, so number 1, I don't want you to miss an opportunity. So I put everything in here, funnel it through. If you're looking for a 4-unit building, I'm going to make sure you're getting a 4-unit building. If you're approved for $300,000, I'm not taking you to look at $400,000 properties, nor am I going to send them to you. So I've got to have a really good idea of what you are looking for, and hopefully by now I have gotten that. All right. So now I'm ready to go back. Did everybody kind of understand that funnel system? If not, simply I take all of the information, disseminate through it. If you're looking for a 4-unit building, if you're looking for a 2-unit building, I'm not sending you an 8-unit building. I'm looking for what your goal is, because we have to be very intentional about things, right? We talked about that on the first screen. You set the goal, you got to be intentional, which is why we said the affirmations. So I take all of the market, I disseminate through the information so you don't have to do it. I make sure if you're looking for a 4-unit building, the 4-unit building is there, and that's what we're going to go and see. One, we don't want to miss anything, and two, we don't want to overspend. It's very simple. Do you guys get that? Make sense? Does it make sense? Tell me it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, tell me I don't understand. All right. Seems like everybody says that it makes sense. All right, good. So I'm going to go back. Yo, I have to say that I'm doing a really good job sharing my screens with you guys. I'm very excited about that. Clap your hand. All right. So going back to my screen here. Nope. I want to go to the current. First, I want to move this over. Give me just a second, guys. Okay. You guys see that? View. Nope. Nope. Oh, there we go. That was simple enough. All right. So you found the perfect property. All right. It's 8:17. We're on good time. I'm going to leave a session for questions and answers. Some of the terms that you need to be familiar with. Your escrow deposit, earnest money deposit. Some people call it earnest. Some people call it escrow. It is one and the same. It is one in the same. All right. This is simply a deposit that you're going to put down. It shows the seriousness of your offer. It is credited back to you at the time of closing. That's if you do not default. All right. We're not going to get into a long session about that. That'll take another 30, 40 minutes. But your escrow deposit can be at jeopardy if you are not with a professional that is making sure you're adhering to the guidelines of your contract. And I can tell you right now, 18 years in the business, 2018 has been 1 year where I have seen too many escrow disputes. Too many. And I'd like to say thank you that I've never had one in 2000 period in 18 years. And so I'm thankful for that. Doesn't mean that I'm perfect, but it does mean that we understand the nature of an escrow deposit. You'll have people putting $50,000 in escrow. You know, if you're a realtor and you are not abiding by the contract guidelines that you agreed to, there is a risk at losing your escrow. So as long as you're ready to go and you're following you see why it's important to get a professional that knows what they're doing? We can't expect you to know everything. We're here to educate the consumers. Don't make me mad, y'all. All right. So you may want to talk to the lender. I would have had a conversation with the lender already that you're working with, and I would ask them what, tell me a little bit about this pre-qual. All right, well, is it going to take you 20, 30, 45 days to close? If it's a 203 product, which is a renovation loan, those usually take from 45 to 60 days. You got to know that. Don't under ask for time. All right? What is your time frame for inspections? That is important, because if there is something that you do not physically see with your eye and the professionals do, you want to have either the seller address it, or you need to, if it's that bad, you need to be able to come out of the contract, release you from the contract, and release your escrow deposit back over to you. All right, so that's very important. And besides that, you need to know what's going on with the property. Guys, inspectors are not perfect. Ladies and guys, they're not perfect. There are a lot of times that even in pre-construction homes, you're not going to discover some things until you start living in that house every day. Okay, so get the best inspector that you can. That is not something you want to say, oh, this inspector's charging $150, so I'm not going to pay $350. You'd rather spend $350 on a certified inspector than to be stuck with a plumbing issue that's going to cost you $8,000 down the line. All right, so we hit that. All right, I need to know as a professional, does my borrower need some assistance with closing costs? Sometimes we'll have a buyer who has great scores, great income, but they have not saved any money, right? They don't have a large pool of money just to rely on for their closing costs. I need to know that. And grants are a great way to start. I can tell you right now, Obama came out with the NSP program, or maybe was it Bush? I can't remember. But any which way, I have been a realtor for many municipalities, and we've helped create those programs. I can tell you right now, I have buyers in houses with up to $130,000 in grant funds. Right now, in Broward County, Florida, there are grants that are giving out $40,000 for up to $40,000 for grants, down payment assistance, and closing costs. So if you're not in Florida and you're in some other city, municipality, bureau, get with that municipality. Just if you want to, for example, move to Dallas, Texas, you're going to go to the city of Dallas's website and you're going to go to their community development tab. If you don't see a tab, it does not mean they do not have that department. Get on the phone and call them and say, hey, I'm looking. I don't know if you want to call the people, hey, hello, I'm looking for the community development department. Do you have one? I'm looking for some grants or information on grants, and they will direct you. All right. So if you are one of those people with good income, low debt, and great scores or good scores, but you just couldn't find, you don't got $20,000 just somewhere laying around, definitely grants are a big factor in home ownership. A lot of it is not being used because the consumers don't know. And if you don't have the time, then you better bet your bottom dollar you need to find a lender who does know about grant programs. Let me add this, and I know it's not on the slide, but every bank has a CRA requirement. All right, they have a branch physically in a place on this earth. They have CRA requirements for the most part, 95% of them. And so there are specialists out there who do nothing but grant funds. And if you need some help with that, I will share some contacts with you. All right, we talked about time periods, title agents and title companies. And this can get complicated. I don't want to make this complicated. That's not what this is about. But this is how I pretty much explain it, right? For people like me that don't want anything complicated, this is how this works. They literally pick the house up. They don't literally. They pick the house up. They dust it off of all the confusion. They make sure all the liens are paid. They make sure all the taxes are paid. They make sure all the water bills are paid. They make sure there are no code violations. And if there are, they address them. And if everything is smooth and copacetic, they put the house back down on a nice clean foundation for the next homeowner. Did that make sense to y'all? If it makes sense, right, makes sense. If it didn't, say no. Did that make sense? Did that make sense? The title company is the portion of this deal, and they are very important. Guys, I know we have family members in this business and you want to support their business. This is a large purchase. This is, for some of you, it's going to be one of the only large purchases that you're going to make in your lifetime. Go with a reputable title agent, title company, and or attorney. All right? Go with a reputable company and or an attorney. Y'all know Miami is like the capital of fraud. I can't tell you how many times we've seen title companies close in the middle of transaction. You know, people are, escrows are over there. So just be careful of what you are doing. This is not just fly by night transaction. No, make sure you have people who are reputable. So pretty much for the title company, they're going to issue something that's called title insurance. So it's in their best interest to do the work. Because if they give you that title insurance policy and they have forgotten something and they miss something, they have to go back and pay it and fix it. All right. In a nutshell, that's how they work. They lift the property up, they sweep it off, dust all the stuff that went on before. Hopefully the spirits too. You might want to sage it. Just go on and get your little sage. I got sage in my office. I got the sage of people. Stuff be coming up in here, y'all. Right? You want to they just sage the bottom of the property. They don't sage the property, but they do. They make sure that they're going to deliver clear title to you. And once it's clear title, they're going to give you something that's called title insurance. And when you join the course, if you join the course, you'll learn. We bring in title specialists. We bring in appraisers. We bring in inspectors. And so we bring in all those things for you. Last but definitely not least, make sure you have property insurance. There's so many people with no property insurance. I was talking to a client yesterday, and her mom left her the house. And I asked that question: there's a lot of work that needs to be done? You guys know that we were just faced with Hurricane Irma, and there have been some damages. Well, guess what? They didn't have property insurance. They didn't have property insurance. I know that lady that does that. Would that mean? Gosh, you got to secure and protect your asset. You can't be walking around, especially not here, not with good old hurricanes. You got to protect your asset. When I was a little girl, the house down the street burned down to shreds. It was a disaster. In the front of the house, you could see right through. Nothing made it. Thank God the people made it out of the house, but the house was not there. That house was a blighted property on our block on 43rd Court in Miami Gardens, Carroll City at the time, for so many years because they could not afford to rebuild that house. But watch this: if they had property insurance, the insurance company would have paid to build that house. Y'all understand what I'm talking about? They're not going to pay the mortgage. They're going to make sure that they're able to rebuild that property for that homeowner. So that is very, very important. And hopefully, no. Somebody is saying no property insurance is brave. No, it's dumb. It's real dumb. If nobody told you, it's not good. So for $2,500 or less a month, we're just talking about on an average property. I don't think that's worth it for the whole year. Come on now. Any which way, hopefully you got a screenshot of that slide. We're going to go to our next slide. All right. So let me just go back really quickly. All right, so we've talked about everything there. You found the perfect property. We talked about escrow deposit. We talked about the closing date. We talked about time frames for the inspection and in your contract overall. We talked about you could potentially be asking the seller to assist you with some closing costs. We talked about title a little bit, and then we also talked about property insurance. And so now it is 8:30. I am excited. Hopefully you have gotten some good information from here, but I want to open it up. And I think, let me see. So I think what I want to do is, let me see something here. I want to open up, what do I want to do? I want to open up the floor for questions, and I guess I can do it here. Can you guys ask me questions here in this group chat box? Can you ask me questions here? Ooh, next time I can't put on lipstick, y'all, because this thing here is drying up bad. I need some tissue. I appreciate you. If you have questions, my volume is low. Is the volume better? All right, someone said the volume was low. All right, so I've got 2 participants who raised their hands. Let's just see here. Let's see why. You can hear me. Great information will be okay. Yes. Received my shirt. Oh, somebody received, Tabitha, you received your shirts today. Congratulations. We also, I don't know if you guys could see my shirt. I'll stand up a little bit. But the university also buys these shirts, buy, rent, sell. I love real estate. Buy the block. We just added that shirt, but I will drop that information later. Our website is dropping in a few days, so I'm excited about that. Yes, there will be future seminars. Very important. Great. If you have a specific question at this moment, now is the time to ask those questions. What I have done is just kind of sort of giving you an overview, right? And so we do, thank you. If Mari was here, he'd say mute your screen. But we're family today, y'all. Y'all are helping me and I'm helping you. And it's just a great, great wave of energy. And so I'm excited about that. All right, so let's just see here. All right, I am going to, in fact, you know what? Let me do that really quickly. Here is my contact screen. Before I start answering the questions, here is my contact screen. That is my personal cell. Where is it? This is the cell. This is 786. This is my money maker right here. Here's my opportunity maker right here. All right, so this is my cell. We can help you just about anywhere in the world. We have partnerships all over the country, all over the world. So if you're not physically here in Florida, there is no way I will try to help you in New York, but I've definitely put you with some of our partners there in New York and anywhere else in the world. So my IG contact, you'll learn a lot there. Claudia and Hibbert, my Facebook, Claudia and Hibbert. There is going to be a group that you guys can join because I'm going to continue to share information, some tips on how to increase your and boost your credit scores. You know, I had a client the other day, they were excited. They were at a 780 credit score. They're like, no, I want to get to 800. And so, yes, I champion behind that. If you have a 400 score, do not fret. When I tell you, when I left college, even when I filed bankruptcy, scores went down the drain. So listen, I've done it twice. I've rebooted myself twice. And so my IG is Claudia and Hibbert. Go and follow me there. Guys, I don't come on there every day, but if something hits me, I'm on there and I'm sharing. Also on my Facebook, Claudia and Hibbert. If you register to be on here, which most of you have, you're going to get those links. You can just click into them and it's there. I am going to be having a 6-week course. My last course, 70% of the people purchased their first property, so I was excited about that. Some of them still got started on credit repair. We're going to be sharing our partners' information with you, who I believe is a beast at what they do. They're featured on on the local news here, and they're just doing some amazing things. And I'll say, when are you going to increase your prices? And it's not even about the money. It's about getting the people to journey to their destination. And so that is what I am here for. And so you'll have an opportunity to get into this 6-week course, okay? It's going to physically be here in the South Florida, Miami, Pembroke Pines area. It is also going to be on a webinar. This is a meeting, I understand, and so it's going to be a webinar. And I could tell you, my greatest goal in life is not only to maintain and create more passive income, it's really, guys, to create more people like to create more homeowners, to create more property owners. And so I'm going to leave this up here and I'm going to go ahead and start answering questions because I want to get you guys out of here early. I know it's Tuesday. You received your shirt. Thank you. Thank you for not criticizing because y'all, I don't know nothing about mailing. I say, y'all don't forget about the tags. We got to get these shirts. And I just wrote with a black marker and I got their packages out. A marker like this, right? And so thank you for that. Thank you for getting those shirts and being happy. All right, so let's go back to some of the questions. All right, we're here. All right, let me just see. Let me back up. Okay, so there you go. Can you buy a house for less than $10,000 to flip? I don't know. Now, if you can find a house for 10 grand, call me. And maybe I don't understand the question. So this person is asking, can you buy a house for less than 10 grand and flip? Let me tell you, some places like Detroit, they have an online auction. It works a little bit different than Florida. Definitely, I've seen people, actually, I have seen people buy properties for less than $10,000, all right, for a flip. All right. So you've got to determine if you're going to flip or if you're going to buy and hold and create passive income. I'm sorry, guys, because this is coming to me and I got to share it with you. I never buy a single family home to rent out. If you are looking to be an investor in real estate, nobody cares about the number of houses you have. We want to hear how many doors you have. All right. I want to see how many doors I have. So this is my 4-unit building. I got a door here, door here, door here. I got 4 opportunities to make some income. 4 opportunities to make some income. Guys, if you're sitting in a home right now and you got equity and you're looking to maximize your earning potential, sell the house, 1031 exchange, which is a whole different seminar, but we'll talk about that later. And go buy yourself a 4-unit building, short-term sacrifice to longer-term gain. Don't think about, oh, I'm gonna sell my house and I'm gonna go live in a unit. Yes, do it. And when you get in class, we're gonna strategize on how to do that. All right, for a veteran, can they purchase a home more than once with a VA loan? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You cannot purchase one house with a VA loan and then go and keep that house and go and purchase another house with a VA loan. But if you sell that house, definitely you can use your certificate again. So I hope, Jasky, to everyone, I answered that for you. The answer is yes, but you cannot buy multiple properties and keep the same loan and then reutilize your VA loan. Remember, VA means that you have the intent on living in the property. All right, any homeowners insurance companies that you recommend? Tiffany, yes. There are some insurance companies where are you calling from, Tiffany? Where are you from? Tiffany, if you can drop where you're from, tell me where you're from, and then I will send you some referrals to some companies that will be able to help you. What do I think about purchasing vacant land? Let me tell you a story. A colleague of mine 10 years ago bought a piece of property in what is now called Miami Gardens. All right. Capital of development. Tennis is here. Super Bowl is here in 2020. The flea market is gone. We've got Marshalls and Ross, places that people didn't ever think would ever come to this area. He purchased it for about $200,000-300,000. That property is now worth millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. So yes, when you're buying vacant land, you've got to know what's going on with development, though. So make sure you're partnering with a professional that knows the vision for that municipality, city, bureau, wherever you're calling from. So Derek, I own land. Yes, I own land too. I think it's a great ideal for you to buy. Let me tell you, you mess around and buy some land, and in 5 years they go develop a Walmart. Walmart is not developing in an area that don't have people in it. So yes, the answer to your question is yes. Owner financing is great. Owner financing is a way. Hard money loans is not the best, but if you want to do a quick flip and you don't have the capital, hard money loans, I recommend them. I use them myself. Okay, hard money loans, they don't check your credit, they don't look at your income. They just want to see you have some skin in the game. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, so Tina's asking me, what did I say about the requirements for obtaining the grants for deposit assistance? All right, just check with your cities or your municipalities. If you're here locally, I can help you in that direction to see if they have grants available. And then they'll tell you, we do have grants available, and here's what the borrower looks like for that grant. All right, so hopefully, Tina, I was able to answer that question for you. What's the basic steps to start in Florida? All right, Alyssa, I just shared them with you. Credit, getting your pre-qual, linking or finding a real estate professional that's gonna best service you. And then you can hit me offline and we'll do some more talking. All right, so you open an LLC. All right, guys, it's very difficult to buy a property and obtain financing right now. Right now doesn't mean it's going to be forever in an LLC. Nevertheless, if you buy in an LLC, you can potentially, well, you could look at some owner financing and hard money. Those people will acknowledge your LLC. And there are some banks out there that will loan you money on an LLC, but it's just not rampant right now, probably due to the recent foreclosure market in 2007, 8, and 9. And so if you've got your tax ID, so he's gotten his EIN or she's gotten her EIN number, great way to start. That's a lot, because you can title properties back over, but there's some complications when you get into doing that. And I think that's something that we can talk about offline. She opened her LLC. She's gotten her EIN. Know that when you get a hard money loan, if you're going to get a property through your LLC initially or owner financing, know that they're going to make you personally responsible for that loan as well. I haven't seen anyone that hasn't. So I hope I answered you there. A good score to me is anything above 640. However, banks do FHA loans 4, 580. So a good score. You know what? Get an excellent score. Shoot for the stars. I like to see people, I'd rather work with you and not sell your house or sell you a property. I'd rather work with you to change your credit behavior and see the scores up before I sell you a house and make a commission. And that's just my thing. I don't base my deals on commissions. I just really want to help you get to the next space. All right. We talked about that. I love you. Thank you. You love my concept. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So this says, are you licensed in, I think maybe in Georgia? We have great partnerships in Georgia. So definitely becoming more, I don't know who that is, but definitely we can help you. Can FHA loans, conventional loans, and grants be used towards purchasing foreclosed homes? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I'll tell you something really quickly, Shantira. When they created the NSP, Neighborhood Stabilization Program, across the United States of America, if the city municipality bureau requested the funds from federal government, more than likely they've received them. And that program at the time was to help the foreclosure crisis, because you still had homeowners that still wasn't affected. And so what happened is that the streets became blighted. And so they came up with this program. And let me tell you, that program initially was for foreclosed and vacant homes. Okay. So absolutely you can use grants, FHA loans, conventional loans to buy foreclosed properties. Thank you, Monique Jackson. Great information. Thank you. Thank you. And I'd like to just say for a moment, I'm not really savvy in this world of webinars. I always want to put my hand on the people. And so we do a lot of seminars here locally, but I realized people were calling me from all over the world. And I'd say all over the United States of America. And I just said, you know what, it's time for people to hear the information, because information is key. Knowledge is key. When you move information and knowledge into action, that is power. Oh, I'm going to use that. When you move information and knowledge into action, that becomes power. Having it here is good, but actually being able to deliver is great. So let's keep going here. Can you use a grant to assist in buying a duplex owner occupant? Depending on where you are in the world, sometimes they're called different things. But this is a 2-unit building together with 2 doors. The answer to your question is yes, you can. I'm signing up from your 6-week course. Great. The link will be available to everyone tomorrow. We're just working out a few more kinks. Is the course just for realtors? No, the course is not just for realtors. This seminar is based on for buyers. Now, I do realize I have some realtors that are tuned in, right? I think it's important. If you're a realtor, and I'm going to take some time to share this with you. If you are a realtor and you're out there hustling, bustling, think about your retirement. Think about it now. Don't wait till you get to 40 to start. And if you haven't started, don't wait till you turn 60 to start. And if you're 60, don't wait to 80 to start. But some people, they're 60 look like 50 or 40 to me. It looks like people who are 60 still look and act and move like they're 45, 50. Y'all gonna catch that later. So if you don't start now, don't wait to start. Start now. Start now. And don't worry about if you're not 21. I'm 40 and I'm still, well, I'm not 40 yet. God forgive me. Only 40, that fast. 39. And I'm still buying properties. All right. No, so the course is not just for realtors. A veteran, can they purchase more than one? So we talked about that already. Galaxy S9, thanks, Galaxy in the house. I'm a Galaxy user too. I need your help. No problem. My information is here on the screen. I am sharing that with you. I started an LLC for the purpose of real estate investing. Should I start with a personal loan or use an LLC? I think that you should utilize your ability to buy a property with an FHA product if you can. All right. If you join us in our 6-week webinar and online class, we're going to teach you how to strategize around that. All right. Guys, FHA doesn't say you have to live in a property for the rest of your life. It doesn't even say you got to stay in there for a day. It says you must have the intent on moving into that property. I'll give you an example. I had a client, worked for Southwest Airlines, still does. He wanted to come to Miami. They ended up sending him to Miami. He bought a house, literally 2.5 months. He used his Lord, FHA. I'm mixing up veteran and FHA. He used his FHA. He used his FHA buying power to buy and secure that property for him and his family. He was excited. It was where he wanted to go. Guess what? They transferred him to Oklahoma. He didn't have to give the house back. He didn't have to say, oh my God, I'm no longer living in the house. He did, because remember, when you're living in a property, there's something that's called homestead exemption here in Florida, right? And in other places as well. You want to make sure that you remove that homestead exemption. We'll talk about that a whole nother day. But that is a discount you get for being in that house and living there. So he simply moved somewhere else. Guess what? Now he's back in Dallas. He rents the house out here because he knows he's going to retire in Florida. Most people. All right. So he rents that house out here, and he went and bought a whole new house utilizing the FHA product because it was more than 100 miles away. We'll talk about that a little bit more in detail. Do you have to live in the multiplex under an FHA loan? Yes. If you are securing any type of FHA product, it requires you to have the intent, go Google it, on living in the property. Now, if you live in there for a day and say, you know what, this isn't for me. If you live in there for 5 months and say, okay, wait, this isn't for me, and you decide to rent the unit, now that's okay. Did you have the intent on moving into the house? No, you cannot use an LLC for an FHA loan because FHA loan is requiring you to have the intent on moving into the house. And if you have an LLC, you cannot qualify for a homestead exemption, okay? Thanks, Alyssa, that you like this. I'm a first-time home buyer from New Jersey, moving to PA, Pennsylvania. I have a pre-qual from Jersey, but my realtor wants me to get a pre-qual from, you think this is a good idea? Let's chat about that online. Let's chat about that online. In fact, if you want to just send me an email or just send me a quick text, we can have some discussion about that. Carol, definitely we can have some discussion about that. Hopefully you are tuned in. I just want to stop for a second just to make sure people can hear me. Can you hear me still? If you can hear me, thumbs up. Great. Excellent. All right, good. I'm just sharing the answers. Maybe you didn't ask the question and it was a good question for you to hear because you didn't think about it. I don't know if my question is far out. Nothing is ever far out, but we are current homeowners. Can we use our property as a stepping stone foundation for the investment path of multi-property purchasing, as well as rearrange our current loan portfolio? The answer to your question is yes. I would recommend that. Remember, I can't really answer this question in details because I have to hear what's going on and then strategize around it. I can tell you this. I want to share this story with you. We got about 10 minutes left. Let me go back. I want to go back to that screen. All right, here we go. I want to go out, new share, whiteboard. All right, I'm going to come back to the questions in a moment. I'm going to clear this out. I think this is important. I had a client, I'm going to do this fast, a client who is now purchasing a $400,000 house. She currently owns a home. She owns, you guys see that good? Give me a thumbs up if you can see that okay. Hi, good. She owes $32,000. The home is worth $290,000. Can you do these numbers for me, Mario, real quick? I probably could do 290 minus 132. 90. Can somebody drop that? Somebody draw my screen for me. 290 minus 132 is what? So she now, if she sells, she's probably going to make somewhere around 130,000. Watch this. That is not, guys, I know 290 minus 132, but for the sake of time, I know that that does not equal 130, okay? I know how to count and use the calculator, but there are some additional costs that she's going to incur, like commissions, right? So, but she's going to net about $130,000. She's going to rent this house out. She was for $1,800. Her mortgage payment is $1,400. Guys, she's netting $400 a month. We're not even talking about incidentals. That's about $4,600 for the year. It's not worth it. She's sitting on so much equity. So guess what we did? We just simply strategized. I said, this doesn't make sense. You're going to have a $3,000 mortgage payment or more, depending on taxes. Let's generate some real income. So now we're buying two units or one 4-unit building, residential. She's going to put 20% down, do a 1031 exchange. We'll talk about that another day. It's a little bit too complicated. It's not even complicated. It's just a whole different session. So that she can defer her tax gain. She can defer her taxes to another time later than now. All right. And she's going to now potentially be making $2,800 a month. Oh, that makes sense. So you want to stay in a single family home, make $400 a month, or do you want to sell and make $2,800 a month based on our market here in South Florida? Does that make sense? Let me see. I want to know if it makes sense. Okay, some of you are saying yes. All right, good. So guess what? I just wanted to share that with you. Let me clear. I'm not even going to clear the screen. Client wants to buy a $400,000 house. No problem. She owns a house. She currently owes $132,000. It's worth $290,000. By the time she pays some fees, commissions, we mark it. She's going to clear about $130,000. She's going to take 20% and put it on her next purchase because the rent here is not making any sense. Do you see why it's important to get multiple doors out of a property and not just a single family home? Got it. Now, guess what? She has enough money she's going to be making every month to go and pay the $3,200, and she still works. She's contributing more money to the place where she has a roof over her head. All right, she bought that house 10 years ago. If she had not started, she would not have this opportunity. Don't worry about the fact that she started 10 years ago. If you don't start now, 10 years from now, you ain't gonna have nothing to leverage. How many people know that there are ups and downs in our market? All right. I know I started preaching a little bit. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, good. So, all right, when does the 6-week course start again? I believe it starts in March. It's every Thursday evening. I like Thursdays because they don't really interfere with people's church and choir rehearsal and all this other stuff y'all got going on. Y'all pray for me. One day I'm going to sing in the choir. Y'all know I like to sing. I don't know if I can sing, but I like to sing. That class is going to be on March 8th. And we're also going to be sending you the schedule out as we already have formulated the schedule. Our classes are not just in office, in class sessions. I physically take you to a property. We do contracting work. We do getting estimates. We meet our appraisers and inspections there. We actually are there while they're doing the inspections. And so we always have a product that we could use as an example, because I believe my mission here is to make you move into home ownership or investing. All right. We're going to run over a little bit, guys, but I want to get to some more of these questions. I answered that. How long must you occupy a home purchase with FHA? It states that you must have the intent on moving in the house. So if it's one day, it's one day. Okay. I need Georgia referrals. That's fine. Just email me. All right. Good, good, good. Artavis, thank you for tuning in for Miami Gardens. Great. Do you recommend us getting a real estate license to create passive income? Absolutely not. Now, it just happened for me because, remember, I saw the commissions when I went with my good friend who's like a mother to me. It was like $40,000. I was like, okay, job, I ain't coming back. I don't even think I called the people back, y'all. I'll be honest, I can't remember. But I didn't give them any notice. I did not go. And I knew that I was tired of wearing stockings to South Florida and these jackets. Y'all see, I don't even have on a jacket now. So, and they tell you got to wear these clothes and shoes. I quit. When I saw the commissions, I was like, hold on. So for me, it was about empowering myself and increasing my income. 2, I became an investor by default. But depending on who you're speaking with, it's not always the best thing to have when you're an investor, because there are certain rules and regulations that you must follow with the real estate commissions. And so just if you have both, just make sure that you follow the rules and guidelines of disclosure. All right, we can talk about that offline. I hope I answered your question. All right, I'm a homeowner with a small mortgage on a property. Can I use my property? Of course. Of course, you can use a HELOC. I like a home equity line of credit. You only pay on what you use. So definitely, Shauna, you can do that. Let's talk offline about that. Power LLC. How do I go about financing a property that's up for purchase and you have none or not much money? Someone who's money, who still makes money on the back end for the home. I'm not sure that I understand that question, but let's talk offline. Power LLC. All right. Any recommendation on credit repairs? Yes, I do. I am going to be providing that link. In fact, you can go and follow her, Purse Empowerment, on IG. Her name is Shawnee St. Ville. All right. Her email is Shawnee at Purse. Hold on, y'all. PurseEmpowerment.com. Guys, if you see Purse Empowerment, fine. I've tried to get her to change that for the men too, or come up with something for the men, but she can help whoever and however. She's a beast at what she does. She has a column on Channel 4 News here locally. She talks about credit, finances. Very good tool. And y'all, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. It is real cheap. All right, so you have that. All right, so let me just make sure. All right, I'm a homeowner with a small mortgage on the property. Definitely, you can use your property to leverage, okay? Many people do that. Don't do it foolishly. If you know you only need 30% of whatever that purchase amount, sometimes you got to work backwards in those situations, and we can talk offline about that. But definitely the answer to your question is yes. All right, becoming more 158. Yes, I don't know what the answer to that was. I don't want to go back. Makes sense. Great. All right. Thank you, April. She can't wait to work with me. I am excited. All right. And so I'm dropping some recommendations, because credit can be repaired from anybody, anywhere in the world. And so you guys make sure you check her out. How can I use my property as leverage? Let's discuss that, Lisa, online. Offline, it depends. How much money do you owe? Is there a balance on the property? Is there a mortgage on the property? Let's talk about some of the things, your goals, and then we'll go from there. The one thing I don't really like doing is pulling money out of a property, because if I leave tomorrow, I want my family to live in the same lifestyle that we're living now. And the more mortgages you have, the more liabilities you have and less assets you have. So let's talk about that. But for some of you, you don't see, I make a living selling with my buyers and sellers. I determine what that income level is going to be. And so for some of you, you don't have that opportunity. And so sometimes you do want to leverage your property. So I totally definitely understand. Guys, I'm going to go to 9:10. If you've gotten what you needed, by all means, I appreciate you, but I do want to get through some of the questions here. Hopefully, I was able to impart something in you. Do have a 6-week course coming. Let me tell you, my classes are not just information based. We're pulling credit. We're going to understand where you are. We're going to journey you through. And by the time you are finished, you should be on your way to a closing, okay? So that's what our classes are about. All right, I'm going to be utilizing all the information I have in my LA move goals written down. I don't know what she's saying. And planning to build here as I move there. Thank you for all your wonderful knowledge. You're welcome. If you have questions, is the credit recommendation written on this group chat or on the whiteboard? Okay, so let me get rid of, let me clear this for a second. All right, so I'm going to write it here at Purse. This is IG Purse Empowerment. Guys, remember I told you earlier, sometimes you have to put the word purse aside. We know you don't carry purses. Put the purse aside and get the information. She's great at what she does. Purse Empowerment. That is her IG. All of her contact information is there. If you don't have Instagram, that's fine. Her email is Shawnee@purseempowerment.com. All right. You can definitely, guess what? She has 15-minute free sessions, right? So she is offering 15-minute sessions. Okay. So she's moving. Kristen, thank you for that. You're moving from Texas to LA. I can certainly help you with that. Here is my credit recommendation, IG at Purse Empowerment. She does a fantastic job. She is not a person to just put you in a system and leave you there to do the work yourself. She's great at follow-up. She can work with anyone, anywhere in the world. In fact, we're here in Florida. My sister lives in New York, and she just wrapped up her credit repair. My sister's like excited. So she's excited about that. She can work anywhere in the world. Right here we see this arrow is just Purse Empowerment. So you can just drop it right here. I'm getting ready to take a picture of this screen because I want to make sure that I put my contact information back up here for the people that have not gotten it. Take a picture of it. I'm going to be emailing out using the link that you used. All right, let me just see here. All right, new share. I got the hang of it. All right, and so here is my contact information. And that's it. Without any further delay, it is 9:04. I am so glad that you guys were here with me today. Guys, go and write those goals down. Recite them twice a day, minimum. Minimum. Having a rough day, recite them again. Okay? And so, wait, got one more message. I'll try to answer that one as well. Oh, thank you so much for your time. Great. I'm excited. Thank you so much. And so, without further ado, I'm going to leave this up here for another few minutes. For those of you that have gotten what you needed, thank you. You can log off. You can log off, but I am going to keep this here for you. Guys, was this good information? Was this good? Could you take this information and do something with it? Can you take this information and do something with it? If you can do something with this information, say you rock me. You rock. You rock. You rock. You rock. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you can, guys, this is about empowerment, right? I want you to take this information and I want you to just tackle the world with it. And if you're not able to get in that 6-week course, and I tell you what, There is a fee that comes with that online webinar and on-site class. We're going to do one and the same. I can tell you 70% of the attendees went on to closing. All right, and they're excited. What was that last deal? Connecticut. We just did a 4-unit building in Connecticut, and guess what? He was transferred from Connecticut to Florida, and now he's just duplicating the system, and he used an FHA product. And so, guys, you know, oh, look at that. I have some girl hold my hand in here. Thank you. I hope you guys are ready for Atlanta, April 5th and 6th. Shout out to my good friend, Stormy Wellington. If you're not following her, go follow her. You have the information for Shani in here for credit repair. If you want to ask me some questions for credit repair, I'm certainly available. Here is my email address, phone number. I mean, you should be able to reach me in one of these places, okay? If I don't get back to you right away, don't say I'm ignoring you. I'm getting there, okay? All right. All right, good. And so if you got what you needed, it is okay for you to log off. I'm going to leave this here for some people that went to the kitchen to finish their meal and come back, because I definitely want you to get that. And while I'm still here, yes, Monique, I will be sending the information for the 6-week course. It will be on hibbertuniversity.com. All right, there was a question up here. I'm going to answer it since I'm still here, if she's there. Yeah, and for all of you people, and girl, hold my hand, go to your coaching session and tell Coach Stormy you want to hear more about real estate. Tell her that you are interested in knowing more about real estate. Go and drop her that message. Everybody go right now, just like she made us drop that message for Will Smith. Go drop that message in your group. A girl, hold my hand. Tell her you want to hear more about real estate. And in fact, I was able to sell her home. We're getting ready to do some amazing things, so I'm excited about that. So I'm just trying to find this last question that was asked up here somewhere. Here it is. I have an LLC, and my mom just grandfathered me. Okay, so mom gave her a property. Yes, you can put it in your LLC. Do not try to do a quit claim deed or a deed or any type of deed on your own, because if it is some type of faultiness in that deed, it becomes invalid. So make sure you seek professional help. We have attorneys all over the world that can assist you with that. If they're trying to charge you $1,000, that's too much. It does not cost that type of money, but it does pay to play. And you want to play right. You don't want to get to a situation where you're trying to sell or refinance and you can't, because that person has transitioned and you have done the deed yourself, right? The deed is the instrument, the title work. The deed is the instrument that tells us who the owner is. And so definitely, Sierra, if you are here in Miami, that's great. If not, send me an email and say I live here, here, and here, and I will send you some recommendations. Thank you. Congratulations on my 20 units plus. And so, guys, at 9:10, I'm going to stop and end the session again. I'm excited. I'm excited. I am going to own a 20 plus unit building, apartment building, by December 31st, 2019. I am going to own a 20 unit plus building, apartment building, by December 31st, 2019, baby. Woo! I get pumped. I get excited. And so, you know, it is now 9:09 still. All right. Moved to my own condo. Great. All right, great. We want to position yourself. And I'm going to leave this on the screen for one more minute. Hey, Angela. Let me see. Can I unmute y'all? Can I hear y'all now? How you do this? Oh, I see all these people. Y'all talk to me.
Hey there, how you doing?
Oh, look at that.
You can hear me?
I can hear you just well. Everybody else can too.
I'm on horse, y'all. How y'all doing out there tonight?
Good.
April here coming in from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, hey. All right. And so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. It's 9:10. Hope this was a great 2-hour session. It was free. My job, I believe that God put me on this earth, and my calling is to impart information in you that I have so kindly taken 18 years to gain. I have done it all. I'm still learning, but I think with this information you can start. And with that, God bless. Good night. Follow me, Claudia and Hibbert, on IG, Facebook, the same thing. I'm going to be sending this also via email. All right. So